In this video, I'm going to show you the step-by-step process of exactly what happens in a human transcription agency. So everything from receiving the audio file to going through the AI steps to the human editing steps and all the way back to when the client receives their audio file back. So for those of you who don't know me, I am James Nguyen. I'm the CEO and founder of Inflection Transcribe, and we process thousands and thousands of hours every single month of human edited transcripts. And so our clients include unicorns in the tech space, in the finance space, and more. And we actually started as an AI consultancy in 2019, and transcription was one of the first problems we were looking to solve. So everything I'm going to tell you in this video is based on the last 5 years of experience building AI native workflows for the transcription industry. So let's get straight into it. Step number one, pretty simple, receiving the client audio. So in general, in the industry, there's a number of different ways. So it could be a client is submitting via a portal and they want to order pay as you go. They go in, very similar to ordering anything else online. You say exactly what you want, you order how many quantities, and then you upload your transcription audio and then it goes through. Or we might be actually receiving client audios via an enterprise integration. If we're doing thousands of audio hours every single month for a client, then we're going to have an integration where as soon as an audio file is ready, it's going to come into our pipeline. So either, that's the first step, okay? So the client submits audio. Step number two, as you can imagine, audio has to be received. Now, this is really important because after the audio is received, we're going to move right along to the audio evaluation. So let's take the two scenarios that I spoke about. Scenario one is a customer, more pay as you go, a little bit more ad hoc, is going to order a transcript. That customer, generally speaking, in the same way, if you were ordering something, let's say on Uber Eats or from a restaurant, you're going to put in the line items, the different requests throughout, okay? So the client would request a number of speakers in the audio file, request a certain turnaround time, give reference of potential audio quality, potential accents, potential specialization, potentially as well, we'll be asking for specific formats, clean verbatim, strict verbatim, if the client wants it to be formatted in any other way, right? So that level of audio evaluation potentially is done manually, given that the client's actually given that information. Second to that would be if the client gave no information. Now, this might be in a large enterprise scenario where there are lots of audio hours coming in automatically every single, could be every single hour, every single minute, could be anything. And in those situations, the audio evaluation is not given by the actual client. So in that sense, it has to be done manually or automatically based on the transcription agency. So automatically would be using AI, manually would be having actually someone listen to it and identify if there's multiple speakers, the different audio quality, and there's a level of grading. So that is the audio evaluation step. After that, the file, let's say it is identified as something that is a standard single speaker, clean audio, no background noise, no accented speakers. It's very straightforward. Okay, well in that situation, we move next to the assignment process. Now the assignment process, there are two different models in the industry, generally speaking. I'm being slightly reductive, there might be some variations of this, but they fall largely into two buckets, okay? So the first, model one, let's call it, is an internal marketplace. The advantage here of internal marketplaces, you don't have to have somebody assigning files to different transcriptionists all the time, so you can start to do 24/7 service based on the size and the volume of your transcription freelancing work. So a transcription comes in, there is a queue, there is a platform or a marketplace. So on one side is the suppliers, which is the transcription freelancers, and on the other side is the demand or customers, which are the people who order the transcripts. And so it goes autonomously into a queue, and then there might be a process of potentially bidding on these. It's the same thing here. Each of these large pools of transcriptionists grade each of their editors. So each of their editors have a running score, and these scores could be out of 5, out of 10, could be a bespoke grading system within an actual firm. And so based on how that transcriptionist or the pool of transcriptionists over a certain threshold, they can start to claim certain files. The general reason why you see a lot of transcription companies charge for additional variables in an audio file, because that contributes into the quote unquote bidding price or quoted price. And so if there's a fast turnaround time, that might be priced at a premium. So therefore editors on the platform or in that marketplace might be able to go in and say, you know what, I'm willing to work some extra hours right now, given there's a premium on this file that I'm looking at. So that's how generally it works in model one, right? There's an internal marketplace. Now the advantage, as I said, it's easy to scale that up. The downside, however, is yes, there's a level of quality control, but that level of quality control from what we hear from clients in the industry isn't bespoke, isn't as consistent, isn't as white glove as you might get from model two, okay? So it may be easier to scale, but oftentimes there potentially may be a degradation in quality. Okay, so that's model one. Model two, on the flip side of that, there's still, generally speaking, a very large pool of transcriptionists, but sometimes in smaller transcription agencies, they're not. But the difference here is these files aren't automatically put in a queue and then claimed by the transcriptionist. It's actually assigns a specific transcriptionist. Okay, so there's more proactive assignment, and that generally works. It could work based on programmatically, right? There might be an actual algorithm internally that assigns to certain editors based on their performance, or there might actually be manual assigners. There could be managers, supervisors, whatever the roles might be, and their main duty would be not only to assess the audio quality, not only to assess who are the available transcriptionists, but then have a really good understanding of which transcriptionist, based on what that audio file is, who would be best to actually assign them. So large pool of transcription is proactive assignment. That's going to be manual, and then it's going to be based on a number of different factors. And then after the proactive assignment, it goes into the transcription workflow. Either it's the same. It's just at this point in these final stages here, we're actually getting to where there's an actual transcriptionist working on it. So let's go over to what that process actually looks like. The transcription workflow, this is what we see generally happens in the industry. Again, there's going to be levels of deviation, levels of nuance across the industry, but this is how it generally works. So number one is the audio file. Up here would be the audio file. The audio file goes through ASR. ASR stands for automatic speech recognition, which is essentially an AI generated transcript. Now, that could be a third-party ASR technology. Now, that would generally happen for the smaller transcription agencies that haven't invested in their own technology, or maybe don't have the means, maybe don't have the expertise to invest in it. Then they would use a third-party platform. For the larger transcription agencies or ones that are very tech-forward, they've invested in their own ASR. Either, that's the first step that happens, okay? So at this very stage, this right here is where there starts to be deviation in accuracy and quality across the industry. At every single stage, there's gonna be differentiation around different options here, but this is a really big one. So if an ASR is more accurate, let's say it starts, one vendor could be doing 80% accurate ASR, another one could be doing 90% accurate, right? And there's so many different variables, so many different factors that make this better. But if you think about it, if one's starting at 80%, one's starting at 90%, well, the one starting at 90% should have an advantage, right? Now, there's going to be another different factors based on these other stages too, but generally speaking, they should be at an advantage. Now, whether they maintain that advantage based on the actual editing platform they use, the different tools they have, that's another story. After that, it goes through and it has an AI-assisted transcription. Now, this is analogous to the idea of having a platform to edit on. You can think of the best analogy here as the ASR is an engine. So you could have a Ferrari engine, but the AI-assisted transcription platform is the car. So you can have a Ferrari engine and you could be putting it in a Toyota and it's not going to go as fast as putting a Ferrari engine in a Ferrari. Okay, so the actual editing platform has a big thing to say about the accuracy, the efficiency, the productivity of the actual editors. Okay, so these are different tools that the editors can use when transcribing. This actually makes life a hell of a lot easier for a transcriptionist, whether it's around audio quality enhancement, whether it's around shortcuts about how to edit faster, whether it's about all these other tools that might help them. This is the next stage. Then after this, AI transcription goes into an AI editing platform, then moves over here into the human transcription editing. Now, depending on the firm, depending on the agency, the number of steps here makes a difference, okay? So you might see things based on what is ordered might be a first pass or a first draft transcript. Maybe they may only have one human stage there versus a 99.9% accurate transcript. They might have 3 human stages there, 2 human stages, whatever it might be. This is a human editing process, okay? So not all clients will necessarily need this. Again, if we're talking about just an AI generated transcript, then it's going to skip the human step and go straight to the completed transcript. Or if we're looking at 99.9% on the other end of the spectrum, it's going to go through each of these stages and then look at multiple stages of human editing. Okay, so the sorts of thing that happen when a human edits, again, there's a lot more depth here, but they take the machine generated transcript and then they're going through making sure that every single word is perfect, every punctuation is perfect, it adheres to style guide, formatting the content based on what has been requested. Is it strict verbatim? Do they want multiple speaker tags? Do they want a timestamp? There's a number of different things here. And then going ahead and making sure it is 100% perfect end to end within that, right? And so now one editor will likely be doing multiple passes on one file. Now, if there's multiple editors, i.e. multiple stages, you can see that that really starts to accumulate, which is why there is a premium on human transcription because of how many different steps here go into it. So that's essentially it. And then it goes all the way, that completed transcript, it's going to the completed transcript step. Now, this might be automatically sent back to the client. It might go through an additional, what we would call a scrubbing step or a review step, or an additional QA step. But essentially the stages before it goes to the human editor, it goes back to the client. These are the stages before it goes back to the client. So with that in mind, that is it. That is every single stage that an audio file will go through, and it could be an audio file, it could be a video file, depending on what it is. This last stage of completed transcripts, as we talked about in terms of reviewing it for the format, right? This could be converting it into SRT format. That's what the client's requested. It could be exporting in a PDF, exporting in a Word doc, whatever it might be. This is finalizing the order, making sure everything is perfect. Now, the actual time that this takes, that is a totally different story, and I will go through that at a separate video. But if you are interested in this, or you want to hear a little bit more around the transcription space, head to inflectiontranscribe.com. We will have you covered at every single step, and we guarantee we are the best in the industry for the speed, the accuracy, and the price. If you find better, we'll give you your money back. That's it. I'll see you on the next video.